Ever stop to think about what's really going on inside your phone? Well, what if I told you it's all powered by the seriously strange and wonderful rules of quantum physics? In this explainer, we're going to dive into the mind-bending science that makes your smartphone, well, smart. Okay, so let's just start with this. When you think about what makes your phone so smart, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it the apps, the operating system, maybe the Wi-Fi connection? Sure, those are all important, but the real secret ingredient? Oh, it's something way, way weirder. That's right, it's not just code. It's the actual laws of quantum mechanics. I mean, the same fundamental rules that govern how the universe works at the tiniest, most bizarre level, they are literally running the show inside that thing you carry around all day. This isn't science fiction, folks. This is the reality of the tech we use every single day. All right, first stop, the phone's quantum brain. Let's peek inside the processor. This little chip is basically the heart of the whole operation, and it's where all the computational magic really goes down.
So the whole thing starts with a material called a semiconductor. You've probably heard of silicon, right? That's the stuff. And what makes silicon so special is something called quantum band theory. Now, don't worry, we're not going to get too bogged down in the details, but basically it's this quantum theory that explains how we can precisely control the flow of electricity through it, letting us turn it into a perfect little on-off switch.
And with that control, engineers can build, well, billions of these tiny microscopic switches. We call them transistors. Think of them as the absolute basic building blocks of, like, all modern electronics. Every single 1 and 0 that your phone crunches through, that's just a transistor flipping on or off. And I'm not kidding when I say billions. A modern smartphone chip can have over 15 billion of these things crammed into a space smaller than your fingernail. Just try to wrap your head around that. The scale is absolutely mind-boggling. It's almost impossible to even picture.
So that naturally leads to a big question, right? How on earth can a switch be that small and still work so fast? I mean, at that tiny, tiny scale, the normal rules of physics kind of start to fall apart. The answer? Well, it comes from one of the most famous and just plain weird effects in all of quantum mechanics.
It's something called quantum tunneling. Okay, picture this. Think of an electron as a tiny ball and a barrier inside the transistor as a solid brick wall. In our everyday world, that ball is never, ever getting through the wall. But in the bizarre quantum world, that electron can just poof, ghost right through it. It tunnels through a barrier it should not be able to cross. It's this freaky ability that actually allows electrons to flow inside these impossibly small transistors. But here's the kicker. For the engineers designing these chips, quantum tunneling is a total double-edged sword. On one side, it's a huge pain. It can cause electrons to leak through transistors even when they're supposed to be switched off, which just wastes power and drains your battery. But on the other side, engineers are super clever. They've actually figured out how to use this exact same effect on purpose to make your phone's flash memory work. They use tunneling to push electrons into tiny little storage traps, and that's literally how your photos, your videos, and all your apps are stored. Okay, so that's the brain. Now let's talk about something we're constantly using. The phone's eyes and voice, the camera and the screen. Turns out, quantum physics is behind how your phone both sees and shows you the world.
And what's really cool here is this beautiful quantum symmetry. Check this out. When you snap a picture, your camera sensor uses what's called the photoelectric effect. Basically, particles of light, photons, smack into the sensor and knock electrons free. That's it. Light becomes electrical data. Then, to show you that photo on your OLED screen, it does the exact opposite. It uses something called quantum emission. It pumps energy into electrons, causing them to release their own photons. So data becomes light again. It's this perfect, elegant loop. Light to data, and then data back to light. All thanks to quantum physics. So we've got the phone's brain and its senses. But what about all the invisible stuff? The quantum connections that make your phone actually, well, mobile.
You ever use your GPS and just wonder, how does it know exactly where I am? It all comes down to timing, like insanely precise timing. And that timing comes from atomic clocks way up on satellites. The tick-tock of those clocks, that's actually the predictable pulse of energy released when an electron inside an atom makes a quantum leap. Without that quantum-level precision, your GPS would be off by miles within a single day. It just wouldn't work. And trust me, it doesn't stop there. All those wireless signals, your Wi-Fi, your cellular data, that's just information being beamed through the air by photons. And what about the battery?
The very way a lithium-ion battery stores and releases energy comes down to the quantum dance between ions and electrons. I'm telling you, this stuff is everywhere.
So, when you put it all together, what does it all mean? It means that little device in your pocket isn't just a gadget. It is a genuine marvel of engineering, built from the ground up on the fundamental laws of the universe.
I mean, let's just run through the list again. We're talking about billions of transistors powered by quantum tunneling, the flash memory that stores your life on it, the camera sensor turning light into data, and the OLED screen turning it back into light. Even the hyper-accurate GPS timing from atomic clocks and the chemistry inside your battery, every single core function, it all comes back to quantum mechanics. So the big takeaway here is this. Quantum physics isn't some abstract idea for a textbook. It's not science fiction. It is the practical, essential, and deeply embedded foundation that makes your phone work, right here, right now, in your hand. And that just leaves us with one final exciting thought. If all this amazing tech is built on just our current understanding of these quantum effects, just imagine what comes next. As we head into the new era of actual quantum computing and quantum sensing, what kind of worlds, what kind of completely unimaginable new powers will we one day hold in the palm of our hands?